Smack. Mother hits me in the face and I topple to the floor. I know better than to stand there and take the hit. I learned the hard way that she takes that as an act of defiance, which means more hits, or worst of all, no food. I regain my posture and dodge her looks as she screams into my ears. I act timid, nodding to her threats. Please, I say to myself, just let me eat. Hit me again, but I have to have food. I have to have food. Another blow pushes my head against the tile countertop. I let the tears of mop defeat stream down my face. As she storms out of the kitchen, the seemingly satisfied with herself. After I sigh of relief, the act worked. Mother can beat me all she wants, but I haven't let her take away my will to somehow survive. David Puzzler, that was David Puzzler as a child. You can turn it down. That was David Puzzler as a child. His mom tortured him, and sometimes she tortured him. She didn't let him eat or anything. But David Puzzler was born December 29th of 1960. He was born in San Francisco, California, but he was raised in Dale City, California. He was the second born of his 5 siblings. His dad was a firefighter, and his mom was a stay-at-home mom. His mom was one of those moms that everybody wanted. She made like the best food, the best snacks and everything. She had all the fun activities at her house. She was awesome. But until one day for some reason she became an alcoholic. Not sure why, but she became an alcoholic, and after that everything fell down from there. She started to punish him by making him stay in his room for long hours. No food or anything, we just made him stay in his room. Only way he was able to come out is if her brother was like, hey, can David come out and play? And his mom was like, sure. After that, she started not to feed him. There'd be times where he wouldn't eat for days, almost a week. There'd be times where she would torture him, almost made him lay on a stove while it was hot and wanted him to just lay there. And the only reason why he didn't, because his brother came. After that, he was abused from the age 4 to 12. And his dad did absolutely nothing. He tried to help. He tried to argue and everything, but he lost most of the arguments. And there was times where he was able to sneak food to him because his mom moved his bedroom to the basement. He was emotionally and physically abused, and he was the only one that went through that. None of his siblings had to go through that. But at the end, when he was on random Monday, he went to school, and his nurse, gave him weekly checkups. And the weekly checkups is just to check his body, make sure everything was good. And she noticed the new scars from when he got slammed on the counter and stuff. And she was like, hey, what happened? He was like, oh, I ran into the wall. And she's like, well, funny you said that last week. He was like, oh, wait, no, I was playing ball or something and it hit me in the face. And after keep asking him, he told the truth and everything. And she gave him a hug, sent him to class. A couple minutes later, they had a whole meeting, whole teacher, police was there meeting and everything. And he told them pretty much everything that was going on at home, scared to death because he knew if his mom found out, worse things would happen when he got home. But the police called his mom, told him, hey, David is not coming home today, took him to San Mateo Juvenile Department while he was 12, and he did not have to go home, and after that he was saved. He had to go through that about 8 years, going through living with his mom and all that torture. He joined the U.S. Air Force when he was 18. He published his first memoir, which is A Child Called It, which is the book he wrote talking about his childhood. And also he carried the Sentinel Flame for the Olympics in 1996. I just thought that was cool. But that has to do with me because when I was younger, I had to go through that myself. Not as in depth, but I had to go through a lot. I was born July 20th, 1994. I was raised in different parts of Virginia, also Connecticut, New Jersey, Florida, New York. I was everywhere. My dad was in the military. I am the firstborn out of about 6 siblings. One passed away. I have 2 stepsisters, and a little brother who's my half-brother, and I have another sister. My mom left when I was 7. I was abused by her as well, but she had other problems, and she eventually left when I was 7. My sister's 3, and I haven't seen her since. And my dad got remarried when I was 10. After he got remarried, we moved to Florida, and my dad went to sea, and that was pretty much when everything went downhill from there. When we went out to sea, my stepmom would start calling me names like retarded and stupid and stuff, or I couldn't do anything right. I broke a dish, and then she would yell at my face, say, "You can't do anything right," and I would be on punishment or I would get a beating. After a while, she started lying to my dad, and my dad would not believe anything I would say, saying that I wasn't listening, I was being a horrible child, and I would get a beating from my dad, I'll get put on punishment, and my dad just wouldn't believe me, because I'm not really sure why. And he started believing me after my older sister started calling him and telling him what happened, because I was too scared to do so. After that, around that time, it was just really hard, and it was just really hard to get through. We moved back here, and I met my godmom. I met my godmom. I was about 14. That was when we pretty much got out the whole situation and everything. I still had to go. They separated. They started living in 2 different houses. They never got divorced, but I still had to go over to her house every day in the weekend until I tell my godmom what was going on, so I would go with her sometimes. And I get to stay over there weeks because she didn't want me to go through all of that. Even though there was 5 of us, I was the main one getting pinpoint with all the stuff that she would say, even though there was more of us. So I was emotionally and physically abused like Dave. But what does that have to do with us? David, how he coped with his, before I get to that, he started writing books. He spoke at schools about his bullying, about his story, what he went through, his abuse. And also he joined the U.S. Air Force. I started writing poems. I would talk to my godmom about everything. I decided to learn from my parents' mistakes because I would never do what they did to me. And I also started working with kids. And I also got the help that I needed from this school I went to. So, some of the statistics of child abuse is, approximately 80% of abused young adults met the criteria for at least one psychiatric disorder. Dave went through depression, and that's kind of a little bit something from his book that he went through, and it was pretty much he was just depressed. Anything happy that was going around him, he didn't like, because he didn't have that, and he couldn't have that happy childhood life like everybody else did. I also went through depression as well, very depressed too. And the next slide is also another statistic of how much death there are. There's 1,580 children died from abuse and neglect each year. Next slide. The song I picked, before I get to the main point, I picked this song because her parents went through a divorce and her dad left, and she pretty much kept saying, "Daddy, don't leave." And he didn't want his dad to leave. I didn't want my dad to leave during the time, so it was pretty hard. And the conclusion of this, me and Dave went through a lot of stuff, but we still, as our adulthood, we did not let that define who we are. We didn't let that stop us from being who we can be and making our life better. So despite the troubles and struggles that you may go through in life, don't let that define your future. Instead of letting the past bring you down, learn from it and promise yourself to do better. Get the help that you need and help others who may be going through the same thing. He started talking at schools and making books to help young people. I started working with kids, and I wrote poems too when I was younger, so that could help me, but not only help me, but I would be able to talk to kids and help kids who may feel like they may not have anybody to talk to, because I didn't have anyone to talk to when I was younger.